country again. An English book to read today is Magic Treehouse. Revolutionary War on Wednesday. And Jack and Annie are at a magic treehouse and go to somewhere to save the Camelot. Now we're started at chapter 3. It's time. And the Anna reading at chapter 5 because we're reading 2 chapters in 1 book. Okay, and now are you ready for read this 1 book and 2 stories to read? Now here we go. And first we can read Magic Treehouse Revolutionary War on Wednesday. Now let's start it. Chapter 3. It's time. Annie lifted up her long dress and ran to a tree close to the river. Jack held on his hat and ran after her. They picked it up from behind the tree. More snow flurries swirled in the twilight. Redcoats, whispered Annie. Can't tell, said Jack. In the flickering firelight, the men didn't seem to be wearing uniforms at all. They wore ragged plants and coats. Some even had their feet wrapped in their tarred cloth. Come on, said Annie. She ran to a tree closer to the river. Jack followed. This is as close as we should get, he whispered. But we still can't tell what they're wearing, said Annie. She crept forward and hid behind a scraggly bush. No closer, Jack whispered. But Annie took off again. She crouched behind a rock and only about 10 feet from their campfire. Oh, brother, she's way too close now, Jack thought. But he took a deep breath and ran to the rock. And when he joined Annie, she looked at him and grinned. This is like hide and seek, she whispered. It's not a game, Annie, Jack whispered back. It's war. Be serious. I am serious, said Annie. Her voice is raising. Shh, said Jack. But it was too late. One of the men stood up and looked around. What's the matter, Captain? Another asked. I heard something, said the captain. He held up his musket. Jack stopped laughing. Who's there? The captain shouted. Jack looked at Annie. She shrugged. We're caught, she whispered. Who's there? The captain shouted again. Just 2 kids, Annie answered in small voice. Come out and show yourself, said the captain. Jack and Annie stood up from behind the rock. They both held up their hands. Come in this place, said Annie. In the shadowy twilight, the captain moved toward him. Who are you? He asked. We're Jack and Annie, said Annie. Why are you spying on us? He said. We aren't spying, said Jack. We just wanted to know if you are redcoats or parrots. Which would you like us to be? The shadowy figure asked. Parrots, said Jack. We are parrots, the captain says. Thank goodness, said Annie. The captain smiled. Where are you from? He said. His voice softened. We're visiting reliefs nearby, Jack said. From Cree, Pennsylvania. captain said. My farm is in Frog Creek. Where is your farm? Jack didn't know how to answer. It's near the Frog Creek root, said Annie. Our farms are near root, said Nan with a laugh. What? Just then someone called up the river. It's time, Captain. The captain turned to another man near the campfire. It's time, he replied. The soldiers quickly put out their fire. They stood close to their muskets on their shoulders. Time for what, Captain? Annie said. Time to meet up our commander and show, he said. Return to your family now so your mother and father won't worry about you. Yes, sir, said Jack. It is nice to see children, the captain said. I was just trying to write a letter to my own son and daughter. I don't know what to say. Tell them that you miss them, said Annie. The man smiled. And I do indeed, he said softly. And then he turned and heeled up in the riverbank. He wriggled and followed behind. Soon they all disappeared into a cold mist. Jack looked around. The wind was blowing harder. The snow was sticking into the ground. What now? He said. More than anything, he wanted to go back home. With the soldiers gone, a riverbank felt lonely and scary. We still have to find something to sand, said Annie. I know, said Jack. Maybe we should just follow the captain and his man, said Annie. They might land us to something. Jack wasn't sure that's a good idea, but he didn't have a better one. Okay, but let's try not to cut this time, he said. And he and Annie took up the frozen twilight, following the snowy footprints in the American Plateaus. Now, Chapter 4, Commander-in-Chief. Now, let's do the Chapter 4 and the end of reading at Chapter 5 now. Chapter 4. Jack and Annie ran along the riverbank. The wind whooshed over the cold water. White snowflakes hissed in the dark. But then Jack heard another sound. He heard voices, a lot of voices. I think Jack and Annie have heard of a voice, the voice of the captain and the man and the Plateaus. And he and Annie soon came upon the hundreds and hundreds of soldiers gathering near the dark river, and many carried old lanterns. The lanterns gave an eerie glow to a snowy twilight. The captain and his man must be here somewhere, said Jack, looking around. Boats like giant canoes and tied near the river. Man is lending horses and loading cannons to the boats. What are you all doing? Said Annie. And Jack pulled our Revolutionary War book. He read a whisper. On Wednesday, December 25, 1776, December 25th, that's Christmas. Yeah, I think that it's a Christmas too, but it is a Christmas. So what should the Plateaus do at the Christmas? December 25th, that is Christmas, said Annie. Today's Christmas. Cool, said Jack. They started reading again. Oh, it's today's Christmas at this book, so it is cold out there. The Christmas is in winter. And on Wednesday, December 25th, and 1776, the Turtles are losing the war. Ragged, Aurelie, and many ready to give up. And sometimes begin to happen that would turn the war around. About 2,400 American Turtles gathered in the west of the bank of the Delaware River in Pennsylvania. They prepared to cross a river to go on a secret mission. Oh, a secret mission! Oh man, said Jack. He started to pull out his notebook. Attention troops, the commander-in-chief, a soldier shouted, and Jack and Annie saw a man in the dark cape and three-cornered hat right up in on a white horse. A commander-in-chief loomed above the curled-up soldiers. His cap flapped in the wind. He sat in the clammy with a dainty on the back of his horse. Even at a distance, Jack liked the commander-in-chief looked familiar, very familiar, but he couldn't figure out why. A dangerous mission lies before you all, the man shouted above the wind. But I want you to have a target. You must remember the words of Thomas Penny's. And the commander-in-chief filled up a piece of paper. He read to his man. These are the times that try the man's souls, and a summer sojourn, sunshine petals, will dull creases and strengthen the servant on our country. But he that stands in now deserves a love and thanks for the man and woman. Wow, that's great, whispered Annie, listening to the powerful words. Jack felt the sprites too. The harder conflict, the more girls the trumpet, said the commander-in-chief. Read on. That's the order to cheat begins too lightly. The deserts only that give everything is valuable. There is a silence of everyone in the thinking about the words the man had read. The soldiers started cheering and clapping. They didn't seem tired all anymore. Now they seemed eager to set out their missions. The commander-in-chief saluted at this man. He slid in the horses to the river. As the horses moved past them, Jack thought, better look at the rider. He gasped. Of course, he thought. He'd seen that face before on dollar bills. And Jack grabbed Annie's arm. I know who the commander-in-chief is, he exclaimed. It's George Washington. George Washington might be a commander-in-chief. Oh, it's so nice. And George Washington. Jack and Annie know a George Washington before. And they're at Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. And now tomorrow I'll be started at chapter 5, okay? And now did you have fun? You lost English country come up with some these magic trias, Revolutionary War on Wednesday story. And and Dandy and are reading at chapter 7 because you're reading 2 chapters in one book. Okay, and now if you like my YouTube, please thumbs up my YouTube every time. And now bye bye everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.